What if this is all a shell, Caitlin, and you're crushing my soul? What if? You've only known me for a week. Do you think that this is a shell, or do you think I can actually handle it? What do you think? It's not a shell. Don't worry about it. I'm fine. Okay, would anybody like to tell me their answer to the first question? Well, 2 over 9 is what we would say in like grade 5. What is it really? Because it is 2 over 9. But how do we say that in a senior high math class? 2/9. But 2 over 9 is fine. Great. So the first answer is 2/9. Of course, if you had trouble getting that, it is 8/63. You remember that when we divide a fraction, we multiply by the reciprocal. And then, of course, you remember that 63 and 7 can be simplified to 1 and 9. And 8 and 4 can be simplified to 1 and 2. And then, of course, 2 times 1 is 2, and 9 times 1 is 9. Now, some of you might have done 56 over 252, and then tried to simplify that. I, of course, would never do that, because why would you try to simplify giant numbers when you can simplify the easy small numbers? Yeah? Now, just out of curiosity, every year I show this first question to my grade 10s, and like one of them understands what I did over here. Is this the year that somebody more than one of you gets that? You've all seen that trick of simplifying in the question, right? Nice. That means things are changing. So 2/9 was the answer. Down here, of course, you collect like terms. Now, some of your grade 7 or 8 teachers might have said draw shapes around all the same terms. And then add up the same shapes. That's cool. I don't care what you do. Some teachers say rewrite the question. Put all x squareds together. So you might have written a minus 2x squared there, a plus 2x there, and a minus 9 there. And then 10 minus 2 is 8x squared. Negative 7 plus 2 is negative 5x. And 6 minus 9 is negative 3. I don't care how you do it, because you're in senior high. I don't care how you get an answer, as long as you get an answer and show me your work. The reason for this is as you go further and further in math, there is more than one way to solve every question. And unlike your grade 5 teacher, I don't care if you use a way that is different than me. All right? If you go on the internet and you find a method to do questions that is different than mine, I don't care. Use it if it works for you. But do me a favor and tell me where you got it so I can look at it and possibly steal it. Because if it helped you understand it, that means there's other kids in the class that it could help as well. And I want to be able to disseminate that information to the other kids in the room. Everybody cool? All right. Now, I'm going to come back to 3 and 4 later, just like I told you to come back to 3 and 4 later. Okay. I told you I wanted this written as powers with the same base. Now, a lot of kids asked about this question, which means a lot of kids have a little trouble with exponents, which is lucky because that's the very first unit we do. So, I used real math words. Some of you had problems with that. The bases are the 8 and the 4. I want them to be the same. 8 equals 2 times 2 times 2, which is 2 to the third power. 4 equals 2 times 2, which is 2 squared. So now they both are the same base. So this one is 2 cubed because that's 8, and then it's cubed. The bottom one is 2 squared because that's 4 to the fourth power, which means the top is 2 to the ninth power because there are 3 groups of 3, and the denominator is 2 to the eighth power because there are 4 groups of 2. Which means if I have 9 2's on the top, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and I have 8 2's on the bottom, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, then 8 of those 2's disappear. They don't really disappear. They become 1. And 2 times 1 is still 2. So your final answer is 2. That's what I wanted you to do. Now, some of you didn't follow these instructions and use your calculator to get 512 divided by 256. And then you got 2. Now, let me ask you this. Is that the right answer? Yes. Does that show me you understand how to work with exponents? Yes, because you knew that 8 cubed was 512. Did it answer my question? No. So even though you got the right answer, even though you showed me work, would I give you an A on this question if you wrote what I've just highlighted in green? No, of course not. Would I give you some credit for it? Yes, of course I would, because I am not Mrs. Bad Crumble. Does everybody understand? Excellent. And that same question that I just asked applies here, doesn't it? Because this is the right answer. If 2 kids gave me 3 to the 14th, are they both right? Yes, they are, because it's the right answer. But one of those kids does not understand exponents, and I need to fail them on this question. Which kid is not right? A is absolutely wrong. This is correct. So if you don't show me work, but you just show me an answer, can I mark it? No. So don't do it. Show me work on every question of every test and every assignment. If I am marking it, I had better see work, because I am well aware that there is all kinds of technology out there that will do the work for you. Oh, so student B is correct because student A didn't do those, oops, that should have been a highlighter, didn't do those exponents correctly. And then they did the wrong thing there. They luckily got the right answer. Number 7. The train moves forward, the train moves backwards. Yes? Train moves in 2 directions. Yes? What are the only directions numbers can go? Not forward. Positive and negative. So even though in the real world things can go in infinite directions, in math class, how many directions can they go? 2, positively and negatively. Which one is positive, do you think? Forward or backwards? Forward. So every forward is positive. Every backward is negative, yes? So you can collect your like terms, or you could write it out the long way. If you wrote it out the long way, you would have written 5.6 minus 4 minus 7.2 plus 3.7. If you wrote it out the long way. You could also have collected your like terms. Put all the forwards together and then subtract the backwards. I don't really care. The answer is, I would have to do it in my head. 11.7, 13.3, 17 minus 11.7 is 6.3, 6.4, 6.1. And since it's positive, it is what? Forward. 6.1 meters forward. Evaluate this expression and show your work. I talked to a great many kids about this because a great many of you only did the shortcut. At some point, some teacher told you that to turn a mixed numeral to a fraction, you do times plus. But they didn't go out of their way to remind you that this negative means nothing. Because at least 8 of you did 4 times negative 2 plus 3 and got negative 5/4, which is totally and completely wrong. And since 8 of you needed me to show this to you, I believe that there is more than 8 people that got that wrong. So I'm going to show it to everybody now. There is my good friend, the number line. This is going to be very useful this year because kids are bad with negative numbers. Where on this number line, the blue side or the green side, are negative numbers. Green. So I need negative 2 3/4, yes? So I'm going to go to the left. 1, 2, 3. There is 1. This is 1/4. Agreed? So then I need to go 4 more to get to 2. Is everybody still with me? And then I would need to go 4 more to get to 3. Here is negative 2 3/4, yes? Everyone agrees? Which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11/4. It is not 5/4. So when your teacher told you that little short right, but you have to remember, this is the direction you go. It has nothing to do with the distance. So 2 times 4 plus 3 is indeed 11/4, but it is negative. Then I am subtracting a negative number. 2 things I could do here. I could write plus, or I could change this and leave it as negative negative. I'm going to make it plus. You know this negative right here means nothing. So that is 3 times 4 plus 1, which is 13/3, minus 6 times 2 plus 5 is 17, right? Now, do you remember in grade 6 when your teacher gave you a worksheet or a textbook or practice work and the instructions said, estimate, then calculate? How many of you remember seeing those instructions? Every single one of you. How many of you ignored estimate? Right away, got out your calculator and calculated. Every single one of you. Now, when you do that, and you hit equals on your calculator, what do you write down on the piece of paper? Whatever is showing on the calculator, even if it is a pile of stinking hot rhino feces, because it is completely wrong. And when your teacher says, "How did you get this?" you say, and I quote, "My calculator said so." Your calculator said nothing. Your calculator did what you told it to do, because it's a machine. It does not think for itself. Ergo, just knowing how to push buttons on a calculator is not doing math, which is why none of you should have touched a calculator until now. But, of course, we let you have them in grade 3, and then we wonder why you can't do math. Not you, because you can all do math because you're all brilliant. I mean all the other kids in other classes, right? Not you. So, the reason your book said estimate then calculate was so if your calculator gave you a number that made no sense, you would get it right. You would say, "That's hot garbage. I'm not writing that down. I'm going to check my work." What is that very close to? Nobody can tell me what -2 3/4 is very close to. -3. What is that very close to? -4. So -3 minus -4 is -3 plus 4, yes? And what is that very close to? -3. What's -3 plus 4 minus 3? That is -2, right? So your answer when you're done all your work had better be close to -2. Now let's do our work. If you are going to add them, you need a common denominator of 12. To get 4 to 12, you had to multiply by 3, so you have to multiply his partner by 3, -33. To get 3 to 12, you had to times 4, so you multiply his partner by 4, which is 52. Then, to get 6 to 12, you had to multiply by 2, so you multiply his partner by 2 to get -34. Yes? And then 52 minus 33 minus 34 is negative, I believe it is 15/12, which is, of course, -5/4, which is, of course, -1 1/4. Is -1 1/4 close to -2? Very much so. If I had $1.25 and you had a toonie, we have very close to the same amount of money, don't we? So we knew we were right. Kids, you are the first class I have ever had that did not look at number 9. And this is true. I'm not saying this to like pump your tires or anything. You are the first class I have ever had that looked at number 9 and did not say, "I don't understand anything about the stock market." Because it has nothing to do with the stock market, does it? If one share lost $1.27 and I owned one share, it is now worth $1.27 less, yes? So I lose $1.27 for every share. How many shares do I have? So I lose $1.27 120 times, don't I? 120 times -1.27. Can I do that in my head? Not really, but I'm going to do a quick estimate, right? It's pretty close to 1, so my answer had better be around -120. And 27.27 is pretty close to a quarter, yes? So a quarter of 120 is 30. So this answer better be pretty close to -150, yeah? And what is it? -152.30. 18? 14. The power of estimation. And of course, in the next one, Karen is lucky. What? 40? 40. Okay. Kids, what color is my hair? You can be honest. It's not white. It's gray. What do I like to do with my spare time? You've been in my class long enough. What are some things I like to do? I like to surf. I like to play hockey. No, I don't actually play lacrosse. What did I do last weekend? I went to... And what did I do while I was camping? I went to a... Starts with a C. A concert. Concerts are... loud. I wear no ear protection because I'm an old man. And in 1987, when I started going to concerts, nobody wore ear protection. Just like when we snowboarded or skied or skateboarded, we didn't wear any protective equipment. And as a result, I am losing my hearing. So, if you are going to give me answers, which I desperately want you to do, you cannot give me answers like this. Because I won't hear you. Or this. Okay? I want to hear what you're saying. And sometimes I won't hear you. And I will say, pardon me. And you will think that I think your answer is wrong. It's not that it's wrong. I just didn't hear you. Okay? Okay. Now, some of you will say, get a hearing aid, you stupid old man. And I will say, I went with my wife to get my hearing tested because my wife says I need a hearing aid. And it turns out my hearing is actually pretty darn good. And I've been telling my wife for 30 years that she mumbles. My wife says she does not mumble. She says she speaks clearly. And I say, if you're speaking clearly, then why can I not hear you? When my hearing, proven by science, is very good. Do you know what she says, Simran? Get a hearing aid, old man. So what am I going to end up doing? Getting a hearing aid, because happy spouse, happy house. No, because that's stupid. What if I don't have a wife? So you say happy spouse because that covers everybody. I want this to be an inclusive and safe space, Gavin. So Karen, after she spoke to the manager, get it? Because she's a Karen. I hate that saying because I know a few Karens and they're lovely people. But I also know a few Karens who are raging bitches, and it fits perfectly. What's a male Karen called? A Ken? Oh, I just assumed it was a Chad. Well, what's a Chad then? I always assumed a Chad was a male Karen. Am I wrong? Well, what's a Chad? Ah! See, I didn't know that. Well, look at you kids. Sometimes the students become the teachers. Cheers. All right, so Karen spoke to the manager, and 190 times positive 1.43. Now that's close to 1.5, so that's 190, and half of 190 is 95, so it should be around 215. Sorry. 285. And what is it? 271.7. Now, 70. That's what I needed. It is the same in math. It is not the same in money. Because money has how many decimal places? 2, no matter what. Now, I know that Mrs. Bad Crumble would circle that and say, wrong, if you didn't put the 0 there, wouldn't she? but I'm not Mrs. Bad Crumble. Yeah. What is her overall gain or loss? Well, you're going to add the two, and you're going to find out how much she made. And what is it? 119.30. Positive, because she made money Monday. Even though one of her investments went in the tank, the other one did very, very well. I have another collect like terms question. Hey kids, how many collect like terms questions are on this warm-up? 3. More than anything else, yes? How important is it for you to be able to collect like terms efficiently, do you think? Pretty damn important, yes? So, I don't care how you do it. You highlight them. I don't care. You circle them. You make triangles around some of them. Whatever you like to do, I don't care. The answer is, of course, 4x squared plus 15x plus 21. Right? Because you remember that negative changes all of these signs. Unless you forgot. But now you've seen the right answer, so you won't forget again, will you? No way, Mr. Myers, we got this. Down here, bed mass. What do I do first? I had better do that multiply, right? So that gets me negative 8x plus 12xy minus 10xy. Now what should I do? Should I do the plus or should I do the division? Oh yeah, that's a Z, sorry. Z. Now what should I do next? The addition or the division? The division, because I remember BEDMAS and PEMDAS. The only people that don't remember BEDMAS is every idiot on Facebook. Because if you want to make grown-ups really, really mad, and I might have done this joke in this class already, post a BEDMAS question on Facebook. And there will be 100,000 responses. And those people, if they met in a room, they would have their knives out. They are mean as F to each other about it. And they say things like, well, when I went to school, we did it this way, which is horse feces. We've been doing it BEDMAS for 100 years. Ain't nobody on Facebook, no matter how old you think they are, ain't nobody on Facebook 100 years old. There probably is, because there's 1 billion people on Facebook. Which, of course, I remind you started so a bunch of Chads could meet women and get lucky. Facebook was the original Tinder. It had nothing to do with social media. And yet we talk about Mark Zuckerberg because he's a douche as a hero. Anyways, let's divide, shall we? What is 9x squared divided by 3x? 3x. What is 12x squared y divided by 3x? Negative 4xy. And finally, what is negative 18x squared z divided by 3? Negative 6xz. And then we collect our like terms to get negative 5x plus 8xy minus 16xz. Ya, ya, ya. Ya, ya, ya. And lastly, write an equation. Okay, well, how long is that side? That's x. How long is that side? 2.5. How long is that side? plus x. And how long is that side? All the sides together. 13.6. There is your equation. That is how you do A. Could you write it better? Yes, because math people want to write as little as possible, yes? So instead of writing x and x, what would they write? 2x. And instead of writing 6.5 and 4.3, what would they write? 6.8 to equal 13.6. That's the best answer. Then you solve it. Did we go over solving equations? We did. Minus 6.8 minus 6.8, which is 2x equals 3.8. No. 60 minus 8. 6.8, sorry. 6.8, and then x is 3.4. Right? Now, back to number 4. Elena, can you look right over your left shoulder and see cube right there? Is there one? Can you throw it over here, please? Oh, did it fall apart a bit? Oh, it's falling apart all over the place. That is no... Oh, my God! I built this... Yes, I built this cube to show you... Oh, we're missing something. Oh, I'm too old to get under there. Oh, no, I know. Oh my God. Okay. Oh, it's not your fault. It fell apart. Okay. So, let's talk about the first one. A cube which looks like that, yes? Is painted red. Now, I'm going to paint it pink because I don't have a red highlighter. Is everybody with me? Okay. Then it gets cut into 7 slices. Does everybody agree? Now, look at this very corner right here. The front, the top, and the right-hand side all have paint on them, don't they? Will the inside of that cube have paint on it? No. So every corner is 3 faces. So how many corners are there in a cube? Kids, it's how many corners in a cube? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So how many cubes have 3 faces of color? 8. Is everybody with me? Did you say no? Okay. Elena, can you reach any other color than green of those cubes? Any color. Throw it. She even threw red. Perfect. Excel. This is a 3x3 cube, yes? What color is it now? Green. Son of a bitch. Green. I'm going to dip this cube in red paint. Pretend. Are you imagining with me? Dip. Now, this corner is red, yes? Because it's been dipped in red paint. Now, I dipped it before I cut it into pieces, yes? So the red is only going to be there, there, and there, right? If I cut it into pieces and I take this piece off, then these 3 sides are still going to be green, aren't they? Okay? So, if I dip this whole thing in red, then all this is going to be red. which means every corner is going to be red, isn't it? And only the corners have paint on 3 sides. And there's only 8 corners. You with me? Everybody with me? Yes. Nice. Okay. So we've covered the 3. That's easy peasy. We've covered the 3. Cool? Okay, what's only going to have 2? Well, we know this corner this is going to be another thing. How many cubes are down the side of this cube? There's 7, yes? But 2 of them have paint on all 3 sides, right? So in the middle here, that should have been a different color. That should have been a different color. How many are blue there? 5. So on every edge, there's going to be 5, yes? How many edges are on the cube? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Any more? The one at the back. 10. And the 2 on this back. So how many is that? 12. And there's 5 of them. So we are 2 faces. 60. Where are the 1-facers? They're going to be in the middle, aren't they? On the outside. Well, if this is 5, and, oops, I got to change colors. 1-facers. If this is 5, and this is 5, how long is this? How long is the blue line, kids? 5. So this is 5, and this is 5, right? So how many are in there if that's 5? 5. How many are inside here? 25. How many faces are on a cube? 6. So it was 25 times 6, which is 150. Agreed? Now, how many have no color? Where would have no color? Here's the cube I built. If I take it apart, only the very middle has no color, right? So the middle of this cube has no color, yeah? So the middle of this cube, we know is 5 by 5, right? And what color? I'm going to highlight that green. The middle of this cube is 5 by 5 inside on one face, yes? How far back does it go? 5. So if there's 25 cubes here, and I go back 5 cubes, how many cubes is that? 125. Now, let me ask you this. Was there any math in this question that you did not know? It was adding, subtracting, or adding and multiplying, wasn't it? When did we learn to add and multiply? Picking up what I'm putting down? The math is not difficult. What made this question difficult? Understanding the way I set it up. Yes? Is everybody with me? Did my built cube help? Really? Thanks. And ladies and gentlemen, my lovely assistant Elena. Holy crap. Well, I'm going to double applaud for you, Elena. Yes, go. Oh, you don't need to go to the bathroom? You're asking a question? Oh, weird. Okay, go. The yellow one. Okay. So you're aware that each blue line is 5, yes? So in the middle of this face, this yellow line right here is 5, and this yellow line is 5, right? So I have a square that is 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, too many. 5 down, right? And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 across, right? So how big is that square? This side's 5, this side's 5. Think back to grade 5 when you learned about area of a square. That side is 25. Agreed? And sides of a cube are there? 6. So if one of them is 25 and there's 6 sides, it must be 6 times 25, which is 150. Okay? All right. Now down here, I told you you didn't need to do any math. You just had to explain your thinking. So I told you that this was a solid box. Forget the numbers. Does everybody agree? Surface area is anything on the surface outside, yes? So if I picked up this solid box and I dipped it in paint, everywhere that I just colored would be surface area, yes? Including the bottom, the side, and the back. Is everybody with me? Okay. Now I'm going to cut a hole in it. These holes now can't take any more paint, can they? So I'm going to lose that surface. Agreed? Which means my surface area should go down, shouldn't it? Except I drilled those holes all the way through, didn't I? So if I dip this in paint, isn't the walls of those holes going to be covered in paint? Yes or no? Yes, they are. Which means that's new surface, isn't it? So even though I drilled a hole, I will actually have more surface area. Does everybody understand? Because the paint will now go inside all the way down that tube. Does everyone understand? That's why I said don't worry about the numbers. You didn't need a formula or anything. You just needed to recognize that you would lose those 2 little circles, but you would gain the whole tube. Right? Everybody with me? All right. 10:30, let's start on the actual book, which starts on your favorite page and mine, the first page of the book, which is page in my book, and I hope it's your book. I hope I printed the right document. I hope you are on page 12. No! You were on page E. Your page 12 should look like that, does it? Uh-oh. Son of a motherless goat. I've got to reprint this whole thing. That's a pain in my arse. Wait. Hold up. Maybe this one's right. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, kids, we have already done a review of previous learning, right? Because I didn't have your books at the beginning of the year, that's that other handout I gave you. Everybody cool? We've already reviewed our previous learning. We've done algebra, we've done adding and subtracting, we've done multiplying, we've done number line. We've done everything on page 12 and page 12, yes? Fraction questions. Now, I am going to ask, it's 10:32, when does this class end? 10:55. I am not going to be able to get through my first lesson on exponents in 23 minutes. So you are going to work on these two. Sure, you're good with adding and subtracting fractions. Now remember, it's not about the joke. It's about the math. So if you do the math and you follow the English words here, you did the math wrong. Everybody cool? So let's do the first one together. Let's look at number one. Let's add those. So that is 8/3 minus 3/2. Yes? Everybody with me? Okay. So that is 16 minus 9/6, which is 7/6, which is 1 1/6, right? So you would go down to the bottom, you'd find 1 1/6, which is right there, and you'd cross it out. That's it. I would like it if one of these was completed before tomorrow. Well, no, I would like it if both were completed before tomorrow. Then I could believe in all of you and your ability to add and subtract fractions. I'll be super happy if they're both done. I'll be pretty happy if one's done. And then I'll be super sad if none of them are done. But since I'm giving you 20 minutes right now, you should get some of one of them done, yes? Go! Yes.